Hey guys. Hello. Let's get rid of that. Sanitize hands. Just was out getting my mail and getting my stuff. Heading back home. Yeah, so got my package and mail and yada yada yada. So I thought, well, let's continue on talking, I guess, somewhat, a little bit from here, whatever, I don't know. So, yeah, so where we live right now, it's 45 to 50 minutes either direction for us to how come as soon as I start talking I have to start coughing and hacking? Man. It's like something stuck right there. So yeah, it's a 45-50 minute drive either direction for us to get groceries or mail or you know, anything. It's so much fun. Yeah. So I am about 50 minutes until I get home. So just wanted to pick up some stuff here as well for dinner. So here on the reserve, there's not really many places actually to go to get some groceries or even some food stuff, and if you do, you're paying an arm and a leg. So I picked up just some cheap stuff that actually was closest to price, just for what we need, because we had to come this way because our mail is here. And as I had said, we now have a P.O. box for stuff to be received. It was either we went 45 minutes the other direction, where we would have to pay for it, a couple $100 a year, or we come this way where he had an old one, and because of where he was living, because they don't do home delivery here, so here he has a free P.O. box. So we're going to be using this P.O. box. But either which way, we're going to have to drive 45-50 minutes. So it's like we might as well just do it here. Yeah, and went to get some of the stuff, and where I had to get some of the stuff is where his mom works. So I was talking to her for a few minutes. Yeah, nice day. Nice and actually. Excuse me. Like, it's actually, considering we're quite far north, and it's January, to be +8 Celsius. That is extremely warm. And everything's, usually we have an extreme cold. So the bad side is when it's warm, right now in the winter, his dad doesn't have work because they can't do it when it's warm. They can only do it when it's super duper cold. So right now, he's not working. But there's a big polar vortex coming in. Dentville at that gas station. Big polar vortex where without any wind chill factors. This weekend it'll eventually be going down to minus 26. So big weather change coming this week. Why am I almost done yawning? That's the road to get to where his parents live, and his brother, nephew, and where the mobile home is right now. So it's like 45 minutes this way in order for me to get home to where we're staying, which is pretty much basically where we work and where he works. The one thing that I really found interesting last year before the fall hit, because I was up here, was the wildlife. It's getting back into the wildlife, right? Because when I grew up in, I'm just going to have the names out, the Canmore and the Banff area, right? So, the Banff National Park. So you're up in the mountains and in all the areas. So I was used to having elk always around and in your backyard, and right, elk and deer that could be right up to your front door. So I was used to that, right? You would get the odd little coyote and stuff like that. There was supposedly lots of lynxes and cougars and bears, oh my. But I never really saw those out there, even a moose. Like, there was only one time where I saw a moose out in the wild, and we literally had to, that was when we were going out, for a long drive, and I think it was on the way to the BC where we saw the moose, right? Because we just don't really see much of it up there. Right? The other thing is we were I was used up there to seeing like the sheep and the Rocky Mountain sheep and all that stuff, right? And them with the horns. So I was used to seeing out in the wild, right? Here, there's kind of a little bit different. There's like your little, there's like lynx, and since I've left Calgary now, all I'm hearing back home is there's been cougars spotted and lynxes spotted and bears and moose all within the city, and I'm like going, sure, I leave and now they all come there. But up here, I've seen lots of deer, prairie chickens, which is kind of a little bit weird. It's not like your regular chickens, it's a prairie chicken. So it's a chicken, but a little bit different kind of chicken, a little bit smaller, that are all wild up here that you can hunt and get. Then what was it, a minx or something else that I had saw last year? And then, somebody had hit a moose here on the road that I'm on right now, which was kind of sad to see on the side of the road. One of the big delicacies up here is the moose, and some people have been, rewarded and able to get, some good hunting with moose, and others, not so lucky. His dad and them, they weren't lucky this year or this past year to get really much for anything for moose. And there was one time when they did to go out hunting, they saw a moose, but they forgot to bring the bullets, so they didn't have any bullets or anything for the gun. So, and that was the only time they were able to even find one. And of course, they didn't have any ammunition, so they couldn't hunt to get it, which was kind of sad. But that's a really big delicacy up here. So, there is some of the other members that had been successful, and sometimes they will share the moose meat. One of the other delicacies up here is the dried moose meat, which is like the beef jerky, but it's dried moose meat. It's different. It's also really tough, and I find flavorless. It's not like regular jerky. They will also make a dried moose meat stew, so they will also turn that into a stew. I actually have had some of that. But the other thing I saw lots of last year was bears. And they're not really super big bears here. Like they're nice little size. And I think I posted on there where I saw the one which had 3 cubs. On this road I'm on right now, there was one of the bridges that there was a bear hiding on the side that all of a sudden decided to jump up out of nowhere through the guardrails and come up onto the road, and I almost hit it. Like it literally almost ran into me. Thank God that we didn't. But yeah, there's a lot of bears. Like right now there's no bears because they're all hibernating because it's the winter now. So you don't see the bears. But there's been a lot of coyotes, foxes. Seen some foxes up here as well. Right, so it's just kind of neat just to see the different type of animal life. Unfortunately, along this road, there was also a bear that was hit and killed as well on the side of the road. There's deer. Yeah, we've seen lots of deer that have been hit and dead on the side. They do jump out of nowhere, and it's pitch black up here. So at nighttime, and especially now with winter, since there was less daylight, it's really hard to see them. Like they literally, you could even be driving down here with your high beams and see all the way down. All of a sudden, it'll be like, boop, deer. They're jumping across the road out of nowhere. Right? I don't like seeing the dead animals, but it's life. There's also a lot of wild dogs up here. Which, I hate to say they're wild, but they were kind of dogs, and people didn't take care of them, so they're kind of now out loose and on the wild and out on their own. And where we're staying, there's 3 of them hanging around there, and they've been unable to catch them because there's a new bylaw now for control on the dogs. Because they will be out here jumping and on the highway, and there has been some dogs killed on this road. Now, there was 3 of them that was near our place. 2 of them that were white, one was like a black-brown. Since early December, after a cold spell, there was one white one that I haven't seen for a long time. And yesterday it was just a 2. And they're a little bit of a nuisance because there's one garbage bin that they know how to open the doors on. So they keep getting in. And I had put garbage in it, closed it, and the string and all this stuff to make sure they don't get in. And lo and behold, they know how to chew and get in the corner and to pull and slide the heavy wood door to get in. And they make a hell of a mess, right? Came out and cleaned it all up, and they're all watching me like going, guys, like, come on. You can't get near the dogs. Like, they're curious, and I feel for them, especially during the cold spells. This afternoon when I went out right now to get the mail, the other white one was actually back. So we had the 3 dogs, so the other one was back. And it looks like it's been, you can tell that it's kind of, it's getting older, or it's feeling the effects, or it must have had something. You can see that it was a little bit dreary. It was, not as lively as the other one. So I think something happened, but of course, again, I can't get near the poor guy. I would love to try to them to earn the trust, but also they need to be tied up. I hate to say it. I would like to be able to get a hold of them, tie them up, and take care of them. You know, so they're not having to scour and worry about where their next meal and stuff is going to be. You know, kind of give them some love, but they just won't come near. You know, like they always stay more than the 6 feet apart away from me, and if you try to go near them, you know, they kind of run and take off. Which is, you know, I feel for the dogs. Like, why do people do that? And why treat them so cruel, right? I'm sorry. Pets are family. And dog has been part of the family for centuries. You know, and they have, you know, they're become accustomed to, oh my God. Like, I just feel for the poor guys. But nice blue sky, few clouds, beautiful day. So you probably notice here in my car, right there, you probably can see some words and stuff on the back window. Well, that's kind of one of the other things I wanted to kind of talk about. As I had, you know, mentioned, I do, you know, I am, you know, trying to be my own boss and entrepreneur and stuff on the side. And one of the things I do is that I've actually been doing probably 6-7 years now is I'm a travel agent, and I am an independent agent with Expedia Cruises. We excel and experts in cruises and can't really be beat and matched, and we have a lot of exclusives that you're only going to be able to get through one of us. But it is a full-fledged travel agency, so air, land, sea, you know, everything. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? So I am kind of promoting myself a little bit, and I do have the right. So I will also have my website down in the links below, www.paradisetravel.ca. We're not restricted to Canada only, so I can help Canada, US, and everywhere, you know, around. We can do in Canadian or US currency. Very few will let me do in other local currencies, you know, for travel, because they're really picky. And part of the reason a lot of them, they don't like doing the other currencies, and usually it's just Canadian, US, is everything in the world is compared against the greenback, the US dollar. So a lot of your pricing and stuff is all geared on that. So if we were to charge in another currency, you know, from overseas, the problem is it can sometimes hit people really hard, because it's going to be charged in one, but then it's going to be based and converted over for some people into the US. And then so if it's up here, it's supposed to be transferred over to the US and then over to Canada. So sometimes you're getting double dinged, and it's just like, it's just not worth it. Just do the one exchange rate, right? You know, US or Canada, Canadian dollars. Right now, you know, I know it kind of feels like I'm kind of shaking. It's actually very windy right now here on the road, so I am kind of getting pushed back and forth. this out there, which isn't travel. COVID last year just really threw a wrench into that, because all of a sudden travel stopped. And I had people clients, unfortunately, last year that were part of the canceled cruises. And it hurts. And a lot of people don't realize it, and even the governments don't realize it, because they're like, oh, well, we're going to try to help the tourism industry and pick up. Look, you're not helping us. Because those of us in the tourism industry, it's all commission. We don't get hourly wages. We don't have all that. So there's not really anything that we can use on that to claim or to get EI or to get half of that stuff. Right? And I was just doing this on the side, but I want to really build this and to get it out there. So I do want to promote it a little bit more here through social media, and I do want to kind of kick that up a notch. But with moving, I haven't really done a full move yet, so everything's all still back in Calgary. But since I'm up here now, I don't have that access to an office and to stuff and all that, and most of the people weren't doing it that way. It was all done through phone and email, so a lot of it doesn't even have to be done in person, and we can do it through Zoom or Skype and do all that, and there's no problems. But right now, so many people are scared to travel. And if anybody's been paying attention to, especially the last month or two of what's been happening, there's been a lot of officials that were caught traveling and vacationing when everybody else was told to avoid. Now, here's the thing. You weren't banned, but of course they do hold those who are higher in office, under a certain level. And a lot of people were like, oh, well, the border's closed, you can't travel. Well, no. Here's the thing. Border travel was only closed to land border, so you cannot drive over the border. And I'm getting blowing, and I'm doing the speed limit, and I got a big semi, as you can see, coming up behind me. If you want, you can go right ahead and be blowing off of the road. You can be an idiot, and by all means, do what you want. Except don't crack my windshield. It's already cracked enough. Idiots. I've seen so many people out on the road here. But that brings me up to another story, which is kind of related to the travel. But back on the other part, a lot of people don't realize that in Canada, you could travel. You weren't banned from traveling. You just couldn't drive over the border. So they pretty much restricted people taking these day trips and all the other stuff driving over the border. But you could fly. The only thing is, on the way back, you had to mandatory self-quarantine for 14 days. And if you didn't follow the rules, you could be facing a fine. A lot of people didn't realize that, yeah, you could travel. There was nothing stopping you. But it was all made out there that you couldn't. And that's why, some of them, they went and traveled. It wasn't that you couldn't, it was just that it was recommended not to. So, now, starting this month, there's new rules that in order to fly, now you have to have a COVID negative test. That that's just going to make it even harder for me as a travel agent, because right now they want you to have, within 3 days before. You can't. There isn't the rapid testing and stuff that's out there like everybody thinks. And a lot of the places, if you want rapid testing, it's now turned into a gouging system. Oh, you're going to need to pay. You want to do that? Oh, well, here, $200 now to get that. What? I'm sorry, you guys just made this even worse. Up here with a backlog, it takes up to about 5 days before you can get a test result. They need to kind of eliminate and to change their thoughts on that. Because now you just opened up all these doors to fraud and price gouging from all these companies. Because now if you want to fly, you need this. It was a big mistake to make it that you had to have it in with so many days. And I'm sorry, that's still not a guarantee to really stop. So, travel's going to be harder to pick back up from, unfortunately, but I know it's going to. We need to travel. We need to be able to travel. We need that relaxation, right? Stress and mental health need it. And last year was a good example, right? Nobody could fly out of Canada. So what happened? People started increasing travel within Canada. And as I mentioned before, right, that's why it was hard to find a hitch to install in my car, because everybody was buying hitches to get campers. RV and camper places were having record sales last year because of the pandemic. Other businesses were closing and dying, and others were thriving and having one of the best years ever. Right? And now, of course, you can't do that because there's no campgrounds open for the winter. And then, of course, it's winter, and people, most of the time right now, this is where people travel to go where it's warm. That's harder to do right now. Right? For a while, you couldn't fly to Hawaii, because to fly to Hawaii, you had to, when you arrived in Hawaii, you had to go on a mandatory 14-day quarantine. Well, that means your whole trip is you arrive and you're stuck in your room. Then they started lifting some of those requirements, and one of the countries that lifted it was in Canada. Hawaii was like, well, yeah, we're lifting that 14-day mandatory for Canadians. So it's a no wonder that, one of the MLAs went to Hawaii and others went to Mexico. It's not that they couldn't. It was recommended that they shouldn't, but it wasn't banned. But being in a higher power up, and if you're broadcasting and telling people, stay home, cancel all your travel plans, then yeah, you should do the same thing. But again, nothing was blocked. Nothing was actually banned. So travel will get back. Make sure you go to my website. Now, as I mentioned, it is US and Canada and around the whole world. We do everything on there. And I know here on YouTube that there is people from all the way around the world. By all means, go to my website. On the main page, actually see a link, and if not, I'll put it down below, for a contest that Expedia Cruises is doing. And it is to win a vacation for two, valued at $5,000 in your local currency. So please, by all means, go on there, sign up for a chance to win a vacation. Sign up for news of what's going on in the travel world. And you know what? And get entered. And they give away every year. This is not a one thing. They do it every year. Draws usually around in the fall. There's 2 years where they decided to boost it up a little bit, where they had an extra draw for those who decide to sign up or update their profile, where they gave away 25 smaller trips in a month, one every day. So you know what? Go on, sign up. As long as you go on there and you keep your profile up to date, you're getting some of the news on there, you're entered. Every year, just make sure that your profile is updated and you're entered. So you don't have to keep entering and entering. Right? So come on, you can't lose. Right? But while you're there, maybe look around to see. Oh, yeah, I got it. That was my honey just phoning me and checking in. And he's like going, be careful, the wind. And I'm like, really? There's some bad crosswinds and you want to go out and go for a walk, you might blow away tonight. But yeah, so for the travel. So to help with that, I needed to find a way to do advertising. So not only do I have a Facebook page, and I want to start advertising more here and doing some reports here, and really to get my channel going, because that's my channel is. It's all about exploring and explorations and all the different things that's around us. And so to help with advertising, one of the suppliers was offering a car wrap. So I have a car wrap on my car, and I will be putting the pictures and the stuff here and showing you what my car looks like. Some free advertising, like do whatever I can, right? Many people are probably going to go, well, why do that? You can't travel and stuff. I'm going, when you book and do travel, you're not looking for right away. You're looking into the future. So right now, there's so many good deals and stuff going on. This would be the time to plan ahead. Start thinking about next year. Start thinking about Christmas this year. Right now, a lot of cruise lines, for an example, have extended local bans for cruises up until April and May of this year. Cruises are still happening outside. It's only Canada and US ports that have banned debarkation and local ports. So you can go down to the Caribbean, or there's cruises that leave from the Caribbean, or down farther south, or even overseas internationally. You can get cruises right now. Now, right now, I would not want to do a cruise, out of China and the stuff on there. That's, especially with the way COVID and stuff has been. But the cruises are still happening out there. They haven't stopped. It's just certain areas that are going. And cruises are safe. Right? And my blood boils when I hear people say, oh, they're petri dishes. No, they're not petri dishes. They're not your super spreader events like everybody really thinks. They actually are kept really sterile, really clean. And regardless, I know you keep hearing about this, oh, this big outbreak on this ship, this big outbreak, going, look, they're small and they're contained. And those kind of outbreaks are actually worse on land than everywhere else. Everywhere else on land and stuff like that, those kind of guys, those are the super spreaders. Right? And has, this been a blessing in disguise? Yes. And everybody's whining, but where's the influenza? Where's the flu? How many have died and stuff from that? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, okay, guys, here's the data and the facts. Let's just take our province for an example. Our history for the last 2 decades, on average, about 85 people die a year from the flu. Okay? We're already up to 1,400 already died from COVID. See the difference? Don't listen to the fake information and some of the stuff that people are saying out there, because it's false. I've done my research. I've got the facts. I advise people to get the facts from the proper, credible sources. But, and here's the other thing. In this recent flu season, because we already were in COVID, people already were taking better care of themselves. More hand washing, hand sanitizing, covering the coughs, distancing from people. Those are all the big main ways that flu gets spread, because those areas have increased. And you add in mask usage, people are wearing the masks. There haven't been any deaths or any issues and cases of the flu, especially in our province, because it actually has taken care of it. So has there been other H1N1 and other certain select things? Yes. The main flu season right now has been eradicated because of these security measures. They work. And I don't want to jinx this. We're coming up on the end of January. I usually get colds and flu and sick, from the fall. So usually September I'll have something coming in, and then sometimes December, and then January with the weather. I don't want to jinx this, but knock on wood, I haven't. I get the flu shot. I got that protection. Being careful who I'm around, washing my hands, wearing the mask, hand sanitizing. I'm not getting sick. I'm not having all those little extra colds and the stuff that are happening, because they are being prevented from being spread and controlled. It does work. And that's what people need to understand. Why are you not hearing about the flu? Because it has been reduced. It has been controlled. No, all flu stuff is not being reported as COVID, and that's why you don't hear it. COVID cases can only be recorded as COVID case once it has come back positive. That's how the numbers get counted. It has to be positive. Can there be some things being missed and stuff? Oh, no, I'm not going to answer that because that is a scammer. That's one of the scams going around. And it mimics your phone number, similar to your phone numbers. Right? See how easy it is to get sidetracked. I'm about 10-15 minutes left back from getting home. I have to go through security, right? Because everything's kind of locked down to make sure nobody's going in, nobody's going out, nobody's partying or visiting. Right? But get the facts. The real facts from the real people, not those who are pretending. Oh, masks don't work. Actually, yes, they do. It's been tested and used for centuries. Get your facts. Don't listen to these people who are pretending to be doctors or nurses. There's also nurses who are pretending, and then there is the occasional nurse in there putting false information and losing their jobs because they are incorrect and putting people at risk. Right? It's all be safe out there. But yes, I'm going to show the pictures of the car. That some of the other things that I do is I'm also into finance, and that's with World Financial Group. I only work and do things for real, legit, honest companies. And I will argue that to the ground because I look and find the facts and know the truth. Is there bad ones out there? Yes. And I'm sure we've all at least once or twice in our lifetime fallen for some of the bad ones. There is a lot of good ones and stuff out there, and they all require lots of work. And some of them, they get bad raps just because people were fed the wrong information, misled, or somebody literally abused. And unfortunately, there's abusers out there. It's not the actual business of the company's fault, it's that person's fault. Now, the other thing I also do that I have done for over 20 years, but I haven't really been doing it like I should. I kind of stopped. But I am actually still part of it, is into jewelry. So I was also an independent Fifth Avenue Collection jewelry that's all handmade, made here in Canada. And I will also have all those links for all that stuff down below. Right? It's all about getting the stuff out there and doing this stuff. I thought about getting back into the jewelry, and it's like, right? Yes, I can sell everything and do it all online. A lot of it is done more on showcasing your jewelry, and 100% of the businesses out there all work by asking, and trying to get your referrals from friends and family. That's how all businesses work. The bad businesses are, you only make money by signing up and recruiting. You don't actually have a service or product. Those are the bad ones. If you can make money just by actually selling the services and products, you got a legit company. Right? Because there's some of them out there that are getting caught, and I've even reported where it's like going, okay, so you're selling a service with products, but the only way to get the service and products is you actually has to sign up. So basically you're buying the package, but not only are you buying the package and getting everything for yourself, you are also signing up to resell the package to somebody else. See, that's really kind of on that fine line. That one to me is not really fair and right. And I know somebody who actually fell and got into that. And it's really, it's not right. And with how much they paid for it and with what they're getting, they got ripped off. And they have yet been doing anything and been able to use it. And they were trying to see if a way to use it and to gift it and stuff, and it's like, yeah, good luck. And right now it's going to be even harder for them because of the pandemic. Right? Now, I also was doing health and wellness products, and I was an independent consultant with It Works. Good products. Yes, they are your high-end products, so they do cost a fair bit, but you're also buying into your natural products, tested, verified, and approved, and you can get, in worldwide. The problem is there's too many people who looked at it and go, oh, that's not right. They're just spamming us, to get the stuff. So unfortunately, people, they were reporting it and thinking it was bad. So a lot of the posting of web links, of the website links, started getting banned on more of the social media, which is kind of sad and stupid. A legit company, but people must have complained. And I was even fighting with them, so I kind of stopped doing that because I'm like going, look, I've got some of the product, the boyfriend loves some of the product, I've got samples and stuff to give to people, and it's, all legit. And there's this people out there that just want to make life hard, and it's all because they were misinformed and they thought, oh, it's a scam and stuff. Well, no, it's not. Oh well. But, right? And there's millions of people out there doing Tupperware. To me, Tupperware is a saturated market. And Tupperware is really difficult, in my opinion, because you have to get referrals and keep getting new people, because you're selling products to people. Lifetime warranty. How do you get repeat business? You've only got a certain selection line. They get the stuff that they need, and they're done. That's why it's kind of like, to me, Tupperware is just not really. There's a few. I think if you had a few people doing it, fine. But too many, I'm sorry. I've got like hundreds of people around me all trying to do Tupperware. It's too many. And it's just not something that I want to, spend my money on. And there's just nothing really there that I want. So it's a very limited niche market. So I actually am going to have to put you guys on hold because I'm just getting into the community and I'm going to have to go through a checkpoint here. Splash. type stuff, yeah, it's just as expensive. But that's all we really have here in the community. So nope, not this corner. I'm coming up to mine. So yeah, I know I've kind of rambled on and on and on. There's other stuff I kind of want to talk about, but you know what, I think I'm going to save that for another video. So I'll leave it at that for right now. I see some clouds coming in. I'm not liking them. I didn't pass my turn, did I? No, it's right there. So, alright guys. Cheers, and to be continued on another video.